On July 22nd, 2002, around 9 p.m., 7-year-old Erica, her sister, and one of their friends named Randy Bird were playing outside her grandmother's row house while the adults were allegedly down the street at a block park. Now, while the girls are outside playing, two men drove up in a white vehicle with tinted windows and actually called Erica by her name and asked her to come over to the car. But when she didn't respond, one of the men jumped out the vehicle and went and grabbed her. The friend tried her best to help Erica, but they would just push her down to the ground. Now, once the man finally made it to the car with Erica, he held her down as the driver took off down the street. The friend and Erica's sister ran as fast as they could, crying and yelling. They took Erica. And once they reached the grandmother, Randy caught her breath and then started trying to explain what happened. Now, Barbara Pratt, who is the grandmother, immediately calls the police while everyone else practically runs outside to search for Erica, but by that time, she was long gone. Erica's captors had drove her approximately 10 to 12 miles away from where she lived to this abandoned building, then carried her down to this basement and placed her on this filthy looking mattress. Then they bound her hand and feet together with duct tape and also wrapped it around her eyes so she couldn't see anything. Now, back at the grandmother's house, less than 20 minutes after Erica had been abducted, she received the first of 6 anonymous phone calls from the guys that took her, demanding that she pays $150,000 in ransom if she wanted to see her grandbaby again. And just so the police would know that they were serious, during one of the phone calls, they even allowed Erica to speak briefly with the grandmother. Now, for them to want this large lump sum of money from a person that lived in the area where Erica and the grandmother lived seemed very strange to the officers. But this is when they learned of the neighborhood rumor that Barbara had gotten a large insurance payout for the death of her son. Back in March of 2002, her son had been murdered, and rumors around the neighborhood circulated that she was supposed to be getting over $100,000 for his death. And apparently that rumor reached the wrong set of people, and they came up with a plan to kidnap Erica to get the money. But the thing about it, the family never received that amount of money. Now, meanwhile, Erica spent the whole night alone in this dark basement with her eyes covered and her hands and feet tied together with only a bag of potato chips and some juice. But the next day, this 7-year-old girl exhibited a level of courage and composure that few adults could hope to ever reach. Once there was complete silence and she could no longer hear her abductors, Erica starts to gnaw through the duct tape for hours until her hands were finally free. She then removes the tape from around her eyes and ankles and slowly feels around through the darkness, trying to find a way to the steps she was brought down. Once she found the stairs, she climbs up them as slow as possible, just in case there was still someone there that could hear her. Now, once she made it to the top of the stairs, she noticed that the door was locked from the outside. But this didn't discourage Erica. She starts kicking the door until one of the panels broke loose, then climbs through it. With the light coming through the window, she spots an opening in the home where mail is slid through and starts calling for help. Fortunately, a small group of kids that were outside playing in the neighborhood heard her yelling and ran over to assist her. She then directs them over to a window as she picks up a hard object and proceeds to break the glass. Within minutes, the neighbor kids help pull her through it. One of the young girls that was with them immediately hops on her bike, then pedals down the block to where police officers were patrolling and directs them back to where Erica was. Once they made it over to Loudon Street, they found Erica sitting on the sidewalk with a few scrapes and bruises. She was then taken to the hospital where the doctors evaluated her, but besides that, this brave little girl was well enough to be sent home to her family the same day. Within the next day or so, the police got a tip that the two men whose names were James Burns and Edward Johnson were close to where Erica was found, so the police rushed over and had to chase them down on foot, but they were eventually caught and arrested.